On BBC Radio Leicester, 6 minutes to 7 with Jimmy and Summaya at breakfast. Hope you're well. Welcome to Tuesday and welcome to our news reviewer, Mr. Rob Spence. Good morning.
Good morning.
Marketing man and a former naked butler.
That's exactly what it says on my business card, believe it or not. But it says former naked butler first. I'm not going to lie.
I'd like to confirm that Rob has clothes on this morning.
I mean, it's debatable. The collar is massively open.
It is, and it's a pretty fitted shirt.
I think you call that. I think you call that hirsute, don't you?
I think
with the top.
Rob's just flexed, by the way.
I
saw that.
I just wanted to bring attention to it. Obviously, the listeners can't see it, you know.
But Summaya can, and that's the important thing.
And you, Jimmy, and you.
Mainly you, Jimmy.
Thank you. Right, now we've also been bonding over bath pillows. Now, you, like me, enjoy the bath.
I think you worded that a bit oddly, to be honest.
Not together.
We've not been doing it together. Let's clarify that. Yeah.
That's not big enough.
No, absolutely. But no, I'm a big fan of the bath. I'll be honest, I had one the other night. Picture the scene, candles, bubbles.
You go the whole hog. What, just for yourself?
Yeah, I go all in.
I put candles on.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I bought one of those candles. Have you seen them where they've got the wooden wick? So when you burn it, it like crackles. So it's like an open fire.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not hot or anything, but you put that next to your head and obviously just soak in the ambience of the bath.
Rob, I think you're doing it on another level. I just go like 50p candle.
Well,
do you know what I mean? One of them.
Jimmy's doing it on another level. With the
yes,
pillow.
he has. I need to up my game then, don't
exactly.
I? Really?
Can I just ask you, Dave, with your marketing head on, in all seriousness, does ideas come to you in the bath? Because they do me, and I wonder if that's the same for everybody else.
Absolutely. I think you said it earlier. You use your bath as your thinking time. And I do me. We live in a world that goes at 100 miles an hour. We're always looking at our phones or doing something. It's so nice just to just switch off, unwind, and just think.
You have to create those times in your day, because as you get older, the busier you get, the more things that are going on, the stuff you've got to sort out, and so it's important to do that.
Exactly.
So it's either the bath or commuting in the car on your own, I think.
Absolutely. There's nothing better than loud music on, singing along in the car, and just letting all these thoughts come to you.
Now, that depends if you're a good singer or not, and if there's other people in the car.
I'm a decent singer, I think. When no one's listening, I think I'm not gonna sing today. Don't worry.
Okay,
well, that's a good job. Well, you could try if you want. Halfway now, James Blunt, Ward Thomas.
We'll leave the singing to James Blunt and Ward Thomas, I think.
I think so.
BBC Radio Leicester.
Right, it's just coming to 25 minutes past 7. Going through the news with us this morning is marketing guru, Mr. Rob Spence. Good morning.
Good morning.
We'll just go through the front of some of the papers before we get to what you've seen. And, I mean, there's two things I took away from what's on the news last night and what's on the papers this morning. And that is the fact that if you have a cold or a sniffle, in around 10 to 14 days, it could be that you self-isolate at home. And it says here on The Sun, Cold War, sneezing Brits will be told to take a week off. And I do wonder what the implications of that are going to be. Whether you're literally just going to phone up and say, do you know what, I got a really bad cough, I'm not coming in. And, you know, what the implications are of that. The second thing is about the sort of 125 billion pounds that was wiped off the stock market for some of the UK's major firms yesterday, and the implications that's going to have, especially as we have a budget coming up tomorrow with Rishi Sunak. And the Leicester Mercury, it says City back on track for Champions League. What a win last night. 4-0 beating the Villa, including 2 goals from Jamie Vardy. What have you got there, Summaya?
To be honest, I was looking also about this global market story, about the fact that the global markets suffered their worst day since the financial crisis of 2008. Earlier on, you heard from financial journalist and broadcaster Mickey Clark, who was sort of debunking this fear, because, I mean, if you associate something with a financial crisis and something that's as bad as, you know, it's not as bad as, it's the worst day since the financial crisis, then it can freak you out a bit, because that was pretty bad. But he did provide some clarity, and he did say, look, that was a completely different situation. However, you know, the markets have taken a massive hit. Rob, what about you?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I really struggled to find some news today that didn't involve the coronavirus, stock markets, money. But I found some little gems just to quickly go through. So a big supermarket down in, where are they? West Berkshire might have planning permission sort of turned down because they're not including plans for a nuclear fallout shelter.
Right,
yes.
I've never heard of that before.
No, neither did I. I told you it was a good one. So this is because they're located 600 yards from the atomic weapons establishment. So as part of the planning permission, they need to have nuclear fallout shelters put in place in the building and a policy specifically designed to alert the staff what to do in the event of a nuclear fallout.
But you could be forgiven of the person whose job it was to draw up the plans of what they want to do for their supermarket to kind of overlook that. Because it's not the kind of everyday thing that you would expect to put in a plan.
No, absolutely. You can see them sitting there going, right, we'll put the aisles here, we'll put the fruit and veg there, we'll put the checkouts there. Oh, the nuclear fallout. We forgot about that. Where does that go? So that's all up in the air. I'm sure we'll update you on that in due course.
What else have you seen?
So now, are either of you scared of spiders at all? A tiny bit?
Depends how big it is. If it's a tiny one, it's all right. If it's a hench one as big as your hand, then yes.
Yeah, that's understandable. Now, in the news today, I learned that watching Spider-Man may reduce fear of spiders, which was done by a study in the Frontiers in Psychology journal. So researchers who studied 400 people found just 7 seconds of viewing the superhero in action resulted in a 20% drop in phobia symptoms.
No, come on.
So does that mean if you are scared of bats, you watch Batman for 20 minutes?
Well, 7 seconds apparently.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't see why not, because the article goes on to say that viewers may be seeing a positive side to the creature that they fear. So, if you fear something, watch that person doing something good.
Actually, this doesn't surprise me because I've got a good friend who has a phobia of sick and people being sick, and it's very, very normal. It's really, really normal. So, she will sometimes avoid going out in the evenings if she thinks she's going to be exposed to people that might be drunk and that might be sick. If she's in a restaurant or a cafe and she can see a baby, she gets really worried that they're going to be sick. And one of the things that she was told to do in therapy, she had to do for her homework, was go home and not watch people be sick, but expose herself to, people being sick.
Sorry if you're having your cornflakes.
Sorry
right
if
now,
you're having your cornflakes. Yeah, but it's that idea, if you have a positive perception of it, if your only perception of spiders is Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets, where they go into the forest and there's loads of spiders coming after you and it's absolutely terrifying, then fair enough. But if it's something more positive like Spider-Man, then you can understand it, can't you?
I can see it.
Right, now I did mention it was International Bagpipe Day today, and that if you weren't somebody who necessarily enjoyed the bagpipes, this is something, in talking about positive thoughts around the bagpipes, this might bring it to you. What about you, Rob? What's your thoughts on them? Do you enjoy them or not?
I'll be honest, I've never really had an opinion of them. Whenever I think of the bagpipes, I think of that Friends episode where Ross is playing Celebrate.
Have you heard of the Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Oh, yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, you like them? Okay, great. Have you heard of the Red Hot Chili Pipers?
Do you know what I have?
I haven't.
Yeah, 100% I have, yes.
Right, okay, let's have a little blast of the Red Hot Chili Pipers and ZZ Top. ZZ Top. Okay, this is them doing Give Me All Your Love. And if you didn't like bagpipes before, you might change your mind after hearing this. Here we go. I mean, there's no singing, it's just this.
It's brilliant.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
It's rocking at bagpipes.
I do feel like it needs some singing in there, though.
Do you?
I don't.
Well,
It's great.
you said you could sing
Yeah,
earlier.
go on, Rob.
Oh, here we go. No.
Go on, Rob.
Actually, we've run out of time, sadly.
Oh, unbelievable.
There's always
That's great.
There's always time before 8 o'clock.
Have we got another one? Can we play another one? Can we get another one? Maybe after 7:30?
Yeah.
Before 8 o'clock, we'll find another one for you. It's 7:30 now.
One of the bits of advice in there, though, was how important defibrillators are.
Yeah, and to make sure you got one in school.
That's right. So while that interview was playing out, I was just looking how much would it cost to get a defibrillator, and they range between around 800 quid and 1,300 quid. You can hire them for £18 a month, and actually one of the places that you can go if you want to look at getting one for your village hall or your business or whatever is St John's Ambulance. So sja.org.uk. Now we're actually talking to somebody later from St John's Ambulance about coronavirus, but maybe we should also ask them about defibrillators, because you hear the importance of them. I mean, would you know how to use one?
No.
Well, no, nor would I. Apparently they talk to you. We have one in reception downstairs at BBC Radio Leicester. And when I say to people, I don't know how to use a defibrillator, they go, yeah, but it talks to you. I think, by the way, so don't take what I'm saying as gospel here, but I think you dial a number, don't you, when you have to activate it. I'm going to bring in Rob Spence, who's going through the news here, because he's looking at me as though he knows here.
No, so this is lovely. I've got a really close experience with this myself. Now, my father suffered a full cardiac arrest, 2 or 3 years ago now, literally right in front of me, just heart fully stopped.
Wow.
I'd been in first aid training, so I jumped on him straight away doing the old chest compressions. But what was really fortunate in this really weird, series of events was the fact that he'd collapsed right next to a GP surgery and a co-op store. Now, both of those had defibrillator machines on them. And true testament, if it wasn't for those being there, he wouldn't be here today.
Gosh, what are the chances?
So did you use one?
No, so I jumped on doing the chest compressions on the phone to 999. And now, luckily, once again, it was about 8:30, so doctors were starting to come into the GP surgery. We had one passerby run off to go get the defib from the co-op. Another person ran over to the GP surgery. So luckily, by the time I was doing the chest compressions, professionals were able to step in with the defib.
Wow. And we've got an update on Jack's situation and his health. As a result of the cardiac arrest, he's lost his memory of walking home that day. And I think he's lost his memory for that entire week, to be honest. But he's now well, and he's had an ICD unit fitted, which regulates his heart. And Priory Beaver Academy are rightly proud of their pupils who ran back to the school for help.
Absolutely. And by the way, while we're talking about this, if you've got those moments and experience that you want to share and celebrate or thank someone for something that's happened to you, I would love to hear from you. 81333, first word Leicester. And, I the more people can get defibs, the better, really. Is your dad all right, by the way?
Yeah, yes, he's alive. He's fighting fit as best he can be. So yeah, I side with you, Jimmy. The more defibs, the better.
Okay, let's go through some of the front pages before we get to what you have seen. Two things that really stand out, really. The first thing is about if you've got a cough, potentially, this is what they're saying, you might just need to stay at home and self-isolate. This is sort of plans that the government have been drawing up, and within 10 to 14 days, that could be the case. Actually, can I just mention, the other thing was the sporting events that will be postponed or cancelled or scrapped that the Express have pulled together today. And this is just the scale of it. This is that in football, Italy have ordered all major sporting events, including all their top flight Serie A games, behind closed doors. You've got Premier League have stopped pre-match handshakes. You've got Formula One, the Chinese Grand Prix in Shanghai has been postponed. The Six Nations as well, they've done the same with postponing games. You've got the opening 2 rounds in the MotoGP in Qatar and Thailand have been cancelled. Various other things as well.
As a result of coronavirus, I assume. So something I picked up is about competition rules being eased to prevent shortages. Now, this is because supermarkets could be allowed to team up to tackle the problem of customers stockpiling as curfews on deliveries are lifted to address potential shortages. So that's the perspective from supermarkets. But on that, front of the paper today is talking about the global markets. It's talking about how they suffered their worst day since the financial crisis of 2008 in a sell-off dubbed the new Black Monday. Rob, what about you?
So once again, I dove straight into the depths of the newspaper. Now, the one really interesting little piece that I brought out, the really famous actor Jim Broadbent, who I'm sure you both know. Now, I didn't realise he turned down the role of playing Del Boy Trotter.
And of course, he was in a Only Fools and Horses episode.
Was he?
He was Raquel's. I think he was Raquel's boyfriend. That then Del Boy took Raquel off him.
There you go. Every day's a learning day.
Well, he calls her Rachel in the scene, and Del Boy calls her Raquel. It's funny you say that though, actually, because later you're going to hear about replacements, and there's two in because we're talking about Rishi Sunak taking over from Sajid Javid, sort of last minute call ups ahead of the budget tomorrow, and we're talking about last minute replacements, and there's 2 films, iconic films, where someone else was meant to play the role. And I'm going to go through this with you a little bit later, so I won't spoil that now.
And Rob, what's the story about this charity shop discovery?
Yes, yeah. So I really love this. Now, an artist, a man, walked into a charity shop miles away from his home, and he found a piece of pottery that he had made 32 years ago.
I mean, what a story.
Absolutely.
Do we know who he gave it to?
No.
How did he feel about the fact that it ended up in a charity shop and someone had given it away?
This is his lost message in a bottle, isn't it?
This is brilliant. Have you got any more details, Rob?
Absolutely. So it turns out it'd been donated to the shop, which was 100 miles away from where his studio was, from where he lived. He's a full-time artist, and he walked in, saw it, and immediately just shouted out, "That's my piece, that's mine." And he walked away with it for £3.50.
I wonder how you'd feel in that situation. When you see something that belongs to you in a completely different context, but then this is the fact that it's been given away. So I wonder if someone bought it, then they didn't like it, and then gave it to charity. I just wonder what's happened within those 32 years. So much could have happened.
Absolutely,
right?
it's quite a bit. It must be such a bittersweet situation. Like you say, they're going, "Oh, that's mine. I remember making that. I remember crafting that," and then also thinking, "Well, hold on a second, why has this been given away?" But we'll never know.
Right, now what about smart motorways and cameras?
Oh, I left that one out there. Don't worry. So I know roughly the details.
Out there being the little green room where Rob prepares to go through the news.
Absolutely. Yeah, so obviously I'm a salesman. I drive up and down the motorway all day, every day, sometimes just for fun because I've got nothing better to do. And you'll have seen...
the environment, isn't it?
I was only checking.
Go on.
And you'll have seen all the new smart cameras being put into place, miles of roadworks. Now, it turns out they're not monitored all the time. If at all, because of staffing issues.
Did we know that though already? Didn't we know that not all cameras are always on?
I'll be honest, Jimmy, I left the article in the green room, so I'm not overly too sure.
No, I'm just asking you though. Have you always thought that every camera's on all the time being watched? I don't.
I just thought they were automated. I thought in this day and age of AI and smart technology, I just assumed they didn't need to be, a warning sign would flag up if something occurred and someone would then react. I didn't realise it was so manual still all this time.
Well, talking about stuff that was occurring, we were telling you about how it's the 7th Annual International Bagpipe Day today, and we said before 8 o'clock we'd have another snippet of, what are they called?
The Red Hot Chili Pipers.
The Red Hot Chili Pipers. And Rob, you've got a pair of lungs on you, apparently. Apparently you're a wonderful singer. Jimmy, have we got a clip of another...
Right,
song?
okay, so we played you a bit of ZZ Top earlier on. And by the way, thank you to this person who texted in saying it's a long way to the top if you want to play Rock and Roll by AC/DC is the best example of bagpipes in a song. Well, we haven't found that yet, but we are going to go a bit mellow now with their version of Coldplay and Fix You. Come on, what are we thinking?
I'm thinking Rob needs to sing.
It's too beautiful. I'm overcome with emotion. I'm sorry, I can't.
International Bagpipe Day, come on. Red Hot Chili Pipers bringing you their version of Fix You.
I mean, what more do you need for a Tuesday morning? What more do you need? Rob, you've been brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.